Hey ladies, it is Coach Steph. Welcome to the live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, I'm going to be talking about self-doubt in your health journey. I have my notes and I'm going to dive in. So I am on my phone today. I can hopefully see comments. I'm actually going to pull up Facebook as well. How has your week been? My kids just finished spring break, and so they're back in school this week, and I'm kind of getting back into my regular flow of my work week without having the kids here. So if you're hopping on, let me know that you're on. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, we're going to be talking all things self-doubt and how that can creep into your fitness journey, what to do about it, and how you can kind of rethink and reframe. So if you are hopping on and you're watching, kind of tell me what makes you doubt yourself in your health journey. I did have one person who mentioned and had a comment inside of the app or inside of the Facebook group. And I'm going to the Facebook group now so that I can get her comment and address what she said as well. So I hope y'all have been having a good week. I'm just going to pull this up really quickly. We are in week 10 of the Fit Figure formula. It has gone by so quickly. We talked about boundaries yesterday, and we talked about how we are buffering and kind of people pleasing, going around a problem instead of addressing it head on. And we created inside of the group, we created some energy saving go-to boundary setting statements that feel good to us, that we can get comfortable with within ourselves. And then when we need to set a boundary, and we kind of brainstormed, like, when is it in our lives that come up that we actually need to set those boundaries? Because a lot of times they come up regularly, and so that we will be prepared this time to set a boundary so that we can do less and get more peace, more freedom, more time, so that we're not just people pleasing and overworking ourselves and putting our health journey on the back burner. Because that's like the first thing to go. It's like, oh, I'm going on vacation. Okay, I'm gonna come back to this. Oh, I'm really busy at work. Oh, I have to put my health on the back burner. Oh, my kids are out of school. It's like anything that comes up in life. It's like life itself is keeping you from taking care of your body. And so we kind of work through that and talk through what feelings are you actually avoiding when you are afraid to set boundaries. So really great call yesterday. If you are interested in joining the Fit Figure formula, it's my 16-week program. Early bird enrollment is happening now. So if you know that you need help with mindset, with sticking and staying consistent, with motivation, and I say that in quotes because what I mean is getting started, overcoming the resistance to getting started on the task at hand. If you know that you need help, you're all over the place with your nutrition, this is the place for you. So I'd love to be your coach. You can either message me or go to my profile, check out the link, and you can apply to work with me inside the Fit Figure formula. Yay. And that just popped up. Apply to work with me here. That's the link. Cool. So we are going to be talking about self-doubt. So welcome, ladies. Welcome. All right. So what is keeping you guys, or why do you feel like you have self-doubt? Somebody comment. I hope I can see comments. Let me see if I am missing anything. Hold on. But somebody comment and let me know if, so I can see. Yeah, see, I can't even see them on here. I just pulled it up on my phone. Okay. Hi, Tawana. All right. So I'll keep this up so I can see y'all's comments. What is the thing that's keeping you feeling like this isn't going to work? Right? What I like to call that in your health journey is actually imposter syndrome. You have self-doubt. You're thinking that maybe this won't last. You're thinking about previous failed attempts. You are kind of quitting before you fail, and we'll talk about that. So here's what I want you to do. We're just going to do like a little practice. I want you to get in your mind and hold in your mind, what is your goal? Okay, so what is your goal in your fitness journey? Okay, so hold that in your mind. Why do you think that you have not yet reached your goal? Okay. Why do you think you have not yet reached your goal? Hold that sentence in your brain. What is stopping you? Is it because you don't believe in yourself? Is it because you feel like you can't be consistent? Is it because you don't know what to do? Is it because you haven't sat down and just like set some intentions? Like, what is the reason why you feel like you don't have your goal yet? Right? And so then I want you to take, and I want you to just fill in this blank and say, I want, and then insert your goal. So I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to feel great in my clothes, or I want to build my confidence and love the body that I'm in. Whatever your goal is, right? Insert there. I want. And then I want you to say, but, and then insert what you just told me, the reason why you don't have your goal. So I want to lose 10 pounds, but I can't stay consistent. But I'm an emotional eater. But I am all over the place, and when life happens, I don't get back on. Right? I want you to like say that sentence in your mind. I want, insert goal, but insert the reason why you feel like you don't have it. And that statement, whatever comes after that but, is what is holding you back from your goal. And what it's really holding you back from is feeling the way you want to feel. Because really, our goal really is just about how we think that that goal is going to make us feel. So my question to you is a couple of things. One, how long will you allow what comes after that but to be the thing that stops you from having what you want? How long are you going to allow this self-concept of I'm not consistent, I'm an emotional eater? How long will you allow that to be the reason why you don't have your goal? Like when are you going to decide that like, oh, no, I don't think that's a good enough reason for me not to have my goal, right? Erica says, I want to be healthy, but I worry I won't like my new body. I'm going to get to your comments in a little bit too. Tawana says she's overloaded with too much information and finding it hard to know what actually works for you. That's awesome. That's really a very common one because there's so much out there, right? So it's like, if you have researched and you have tried all these different things, and now you're kind of like overloaded, and your brain is saying, I have too much information, I don't know what works for me. If you are executing consistently, I know you're super consistent with your exercise, right? So likely your issue isn't anything regarding exercise, but with your nutrition, what are the things that you know that you could or should or that are helpful to do that you're maybe not doing, right? And so sometimes we gotta take things away in order for us to block out the noise, follow the system, because a lot of you guys have a lot of tools, and you may have too many tools, but pick one tool and like use that tool, right? So let me go back to my notes real quick. So how much time are you going to spend in whatever came after that but, and how are we going to troubleshoot that? Okay. So when we spend time in a new story, whether it's I'm an emotional eater, or I don't I'm not consistent, or I'm not disciplined, or I have too many tools to execute, and now I'm kind of just like not fully following any one particular thing. I'm kind of just like doing a lot of a little bit, and it's or a little bit of a lot, and now it's overwhelming, right? I want you to write a news story in detail. This is something that I started doing, and like notice how you feel. I want you to take that but, right, and whatever came after that but, and I just want you to write a news story. So literally, this is an exercise that I like to do. I do intentional thought creation in the morning time. I take a notebook and I literally write down from morning to night what it looks like for me to feel the way I want to feel, to do what I want to do, to live the life that I want from morning to night. So it would start out something like this. I wake up in the morning. I feel refreshed. I am full of energy and excited about my day. I wake up and I am excited to go to the gym. That would be my perfect day. And that's what I do now. Like I get up, I put on some cute clothes to go to the gym. I drive to my gym and I get an amazing workout with an excellent personal trainer. That's me. I would like my own personal trainer because I just like being trained. So I would I want you to literally go through your mind and what you would need to do, how you would need to feel, who would be there, like actually allow and give your brain permission to think about what your perfect day might be in your best and healthiest lifestyle. Okay. Because so many times we spend so much time in our story about why we can't get there or why it's hard, right? And we spend so much time thinking about that we don't ever allow our brain to create the actual goal that we want first. So spend some time there. So when you're spending time there and you're visualizing and you're kind of like making this mind movie, you are developing new feelings, right? So I can sit here, I have a really great imagination. And because I imagine all the time, and I always have these stories going on in my head, and I can feel the feelings, I can see it in my mind, and like if I'm thinking about something happy, I may be smiling when I'm thinking about it if I'm really like deep into it. And so I'm feeling these emotions and I'm getting into the vibration of actually having it, not wanting it, but having it. So wanting something and that desire is a first step. You have to get clear on what you want, but then practicing being in the energy of having it, because our brain doesn't know whether or not we're imagining it or if it's happening in real life, right? So this is why it's so important for you to actually allow yourself to go there, okay? And in regards to self-doubt, because we're playing this tape over and over and over again in our mind, and even for you, Erica, when in terms of like the fear of not liking your body, right? I would love to dig a little deeper into that and figure out, why do you think it might be that you might not like your body, right? Like, has it happened before? Because if you don't have clarity on what you want, because it sounds like it's like this idea of like, okay, yes, I want weight loss, but then I don't really know if I really want it. Right. And so if that's the case, then you probably won't like do the hard things to get there because you don't really know that you want it in the first place. Right. It's kind of like, I kind of do. I know it's supposed to be, but I don't know if I'm going to like that. So getting some real clarity around that. So if you're spending a lot of time thinking about either how it won't work or how you don't know if you want it to work, or if you're spending a lot of time thinking about, man, I've tried all these different diets and none of that worked, it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you spend most of your mental energy on, you actually just create more of. And I have a perfect example about this in terms of like a client that signed up, and she was actually doing great. Okay. She's losing weight. She's losing inches. She's looking super athletic. I'm super impressed. She's a client of mine who re-signed. I coached her last year. She came back. We coached for another 3 months. And she messaged me one day and was like, you know what? I think she said something like she wasn't connected or something like that, and she was going to quit coaching. And I was so confused. I was like, what? You're doing amazing. What is happening? And I think it was such a fear of failing, right? A fear of, I don't want to be a disappointment because I'm not doing everything perfect. She was getting great results, even though she wasn't doing everything perfect. But because she wasn't doing everything perfect, she was like, I don't want to fail, so I'm going to quit. And quitting is the only way you fail. You see how it's like literally a self-fulfilling prophecy. You spend so much time thinking about, I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. When I don't want to fail is not the same thing as I'm going to win. I'm going to thrive. It's not the same thing. When you spend so much time thinking, I don't want to fail. I don't know if I can do this. It really just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of y'all will quit before you fail, and failing is the only way. Quitting is the only way that you fail. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So this happens so much, and it makes so much logical sense in our mind at the time that, yeah, this is too much. I'm just not going to do this. And especially as perfectionists, we can reason anything and it makes complete logical sense in our mind. But what's actually happening is I'm scared to fail. So I'm just going to stop doing this because it's uncomfortable, because I don't want to disappoint myself. And then you end up doing just that because you're spending so much mental energy thinking about not failing. Right? So this is why I'm telling you to write a new story and get detailed with telling this story in your mind and seeing it, writing it down. You can even videotape yourself doing it or reading it out so that your brain can say, oh, no, I can actually see myself in this new space, right? And it helps you to create evidence that I can actually do this, right? That I feel like sometimes when you think a new thought that you have never actually thought about before, it creates a new connection in your mind. And that is really important if you want an identity shift. If you don't want to just do a diet and then it's over, and then I don't know what to do after that, then you have to start thinking differently. That's the only way you're actually going to be different, right? That's the only way you're actually going to be different is if you start thinking different. And it takes energy to think different. We want to be our highest and best self, but we're not putting any effort into intentionally thinking, which is simple, but it does take energy on your part. So that, I tell my clients this all the time, we have a power hour, and it's just intentional time alone, intentional time to think. And it just means I'm going to practice making powerful thoughts every single day with this intentional time, so that when life is happening, I can go back to that space in my brain and I can make a powerful thought and make a powerful decision when I'm on the fly, because my brain has practiced that intentionally. Right? So for some of you, you have to forgive yourself for past mistakes. So maybe you did gain the weight back, or maybe you did way overeat last week. Forgive yourself. So forgiving yourself for quote unquote making mistakes is going to be more beneficial for you in increasing your confidence and ditching the self-doubt than beating yourself up. Sometimes I don't know if this is a trauma response or what, but sometimes we are so used to beating ourselves up. We think that that's being tough love, or we think that it is like tough coaching. And it's like, no, you're used to abuse. No, you're used to people, you even talking to your own self real rough. Instead of just giving yourself some grace and moving on, that would actually be more beneficial. So take some time, and if you need to, write a letter, write a letter to your previous self. If you're holding a lot of guilt, if you're holding a lot of shame, and that's causing you to doubt yourself today and in the future, get out a piece of paper, write down, or write a letter to your previous self. Number one, acknowledging that she did the best that she could at the time. Like, she did the best that she could. So what did you learn from that, first of all? Because nothing is ever really a fail. How could you learn from that? And then what is it that you want to take from that and apply now? And also, just in regards to failure, this is something that I was coaching myself last week, because I have bad weeks, I have bad days, just like everybody else. And one thought, I kept thinking this over and over again: it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. So even if it is a failure, it doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means that this particular thing that you tried didn't work out. And the thought of it's okay to fail, or just giving yourself permission, like it's okay to make a mistake. It just, instead of fighting it, allow it, right? Allow the mistake or allow the failure instead of fighting against reality, because you'll lose every time. Allow the uncomfortable feelings of like, man, I really wish that would have gone differently. And sit in that versus trying to like squirm out of it. Own it. It's okay. Give yourself permission. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make a mistake, right? And then you can really list out the things that you know that you have done and you have succeeded in. I coach a lot of ladies who are successful in like lots of different areas of their life. And it seems like there's this one thing, it's like my health is like the thing that is the sticking point, right? You can still use that as evidence that it's possible that you do have the skill set to be consistent. Because some of you guys are saying I'm not consistent, but you go to work every day, you feed your kids every day, you are, consistent in going to church and giving. Like, you're consistent in lots of other areas, but then when it comes to your health journey, you're like, oh, I'm not consistent. And then you just like wash your hands. That is the story. That's what's coming after the but I'm not consistent. Is that story even true? You can tell yourself a different story. I'm actually consistent in a lot of different areas, right? And if we zoom out in our health journey, yeah, maybe you missed a couple of weeks of working out and you in your mind made that mean I'm not consistent. But actually, over the course of the last year, you've gone more times than you haven't. That's consistent. It's not perfection, but it's consistent. So maybe if you zoom out a little bit from the perfection that we think we have to meet and say, oh, well, maybe I am, because that's the thought that's going to help you reach your goals. Like, oh, okay, maybe I am a little bit more consistent than I thought, right? So then you're not looking for opportunities to quit every time, right? So list out some of the hard things that you have done. List out some of the hard things that you are doing, and know that those skills, you have the skill set and it is transferable to this area of your life. Let me check the chat real quick. Quitting is not an option for me. Determined to live a healthy lifestyle and look good too. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You're definitely not a quitter. I feel like this is flow for you. Like, especially the working out part, you definitely have killed that. I stopped thinking diet, but being intentional about my eating choices. Yes, intentional eating. Yes, intentional eating. Intentional thinking. Intentional planning. Like, think about every decision that you're making. Is this going to get me closer to my goal, or is it going to be pulling me farther away? Because, well, and another really important thing is, do you know what your goal is? So back to Erica's point. Let me open up her. So she said, I doubt I'm going to look good. I worry about loose skin, about losing in places that I don't want to lose in, and not keeping volume. Okay, so here's the thing, Erica. That sounds like fear, right? And we know that fear is always way worse than the actual feeling of fear is a lot of times way worse than the actual circumstance, right? So if you think about what you're really scared of, I bet you there's something even deeper there, right? So if we were coaching together, I would definitely dig into that a little bit more. And then just on the science side, we have fat and we have muscle, right? And so we like to keep our curves, right? So there are areas in our body as a woman that we might want to be a little bit more pronounced. We cannot spot reduce fat, like we're going to lose fat all over our bodies, but sometimes people lose weight more in other areas than others. But in those areas, guess what? We have strength training. And strength training is where you build up those muscles so that they are a little bit more pronounced. You can kind of see your muscle tone a little bit better. But overall, I think that if you're losing weight quickly, you mentioned loose skin here. If you're losing weight quickly, that's one of the reasons why you don't want to lose weight super duper fast, because you will have loose skin or looser skin, and some people will not lose that skin unless they have some kind of surgery or something like that. But we don't have to be like skinny as a rail either. So I would look at this. When you go to the doctor, when you take your labs, is your cholesterol within normal limits? Is your sodium level? How are you feeling in your body? Like, look at all the parameters, right? Your body fat percentage. So there is something called body recomposition where you actually can, your weight won't change much, but you're building muscle and losing fat, but the scale will stay relatively the same. And so you just look more compact because fat is just more compact than, or muscle is more compact than fat, right? So I would definitely dig into that a little bit more. Because you said that you know how to dress for this body and that gives you confidence. And so I want you to think about the dichotomy or the separation between confidence and comfort, right? I'm scared that my honey won't like the transition as well. He's so supportive, but you're right. I'm scared to turn him off. Right. And so I want you to know that fear is never or rarely a good reason not to do something. Like, I would prefer you to be like, to have another reason other than fear. Because fear just holds you back from something that's deeper that you're scared of. So think about the difference between confidence and comfort. Okay, is it comfortable for you to be where you're at? Or does it make you confident? Like, you know how to dress that body. Are you really comfortable in that body? And there's not a right or a wrong answer. I'm not telling you which way. I just want you to think about it. Confidence, is it comfort? Do you want fear to be the reason why you don't go after a goal that it sounds like you kind of want, but I almost feel like you're too scared to say, like, this is what I want. But don't let fear be the thing that keeps you back from doing what you need to do. or not even what you need to do, but something that you really want to do. So if you're worried about your health, there are lots of different parameters that you can look at to see if you're healthy, and to determine your health and your health risk. So not only like, maybe I don't have diabetes right now, I don't have hypertension, I don't have all of those things, but how, like, where am I at right now, and is it putting me at risk for those things? So keep that in mind as well. So yeah, just wanted to address that. So let me recap from my notes. So what are your goals? What is the story that's coming after the but? I want blank, but I'm scared. I'm not consistent. I'm an emotional eater. That's your story. That's your old programming. I want you to start to tear apart the 1.0 part of yourself from the 2.0 part, your CEO self, the person who thinks in their highest and best self. And for some of you, you've never practiced doing that. You've never actually practiced thinking like, what are my big goals, my big dreams? You've never allowed yourself to dream big. So I want you to take that piece of paper. I want you to write out a new story. And when I've had people do this before, some people have so much trouble thinking like that because they've never given themselves permission to think beyond like what's right here in front of their face. And it feels odd or untrue or uncomfortable to think outside of that. But give yourself permission to do that. Okay. Release the idea that you have failed. Forgive yourself for past mistakes. Create evidence of your new 2.0 self, that you are becoming her. Let yourself off the hook. You did the best that you could. List all of the other hard things that you have done. List all of the other attributes as far as like being consistent in other areas or being really disciplined in other areas, and know that you have the skill set to turn that self-doubt into self-confidence. But it takes you thinking intentionally and thinking in a new way. If you always think every time, you try something new, or you are deciding, hey, I want to work on my health journey, every time you think that, if the self-doubt comes in and you stop, that's just your pattern. But you can interrupt that pattern by telling yourself a new story and practicing that, and practice showing up as your highest and your best self. Okay. So this is just one of things that you can do in terms of kicking self-doubt to the curb, because guess what? You get to decide that you are whatever it is. So for example, if I say I'm consistent, right? Last fall, there was a big chunk of time I didn't go to the gym. I never see myself as not consistent, because if I zoom out in my life, year after year, I have been consistent. That 2 or 3 months that I didn't go to the gym doesn't define me in totality, right? So I'm choosing to find a way, right? It's like a puzzle. Like, I'm going to find a way to think about this in a way that serves me, period. And then I just get to decide that that's what's true. And some of you just need to own your power and just decide this is what it is. Because nobody can really tell me nobody can say, but, oh, you're not consistent. You didn't go to the gym those 2-3 months. And I'll be like, all right, I have my own back, right? I can reframe my story, and I get to tell the story of who I am, what I'm becoming. But I have to be really intentional about that. So yes, intentional thinking, intentional eating, and becoming you intentionally. And this is part of what we talk about in the Fit Figure formula, of you deciding, why am I doing this? What is it that I want? How do I motivate myself and get myself to take action? How do I set boundaries around this and protect what it is that I need to be doing? Protect my energy. What are my limiting and self-limiting thoughts? What is my self-sabotage? Let's call that out. Let me troubleshoot those so that I'm not continuing to do that. Let me set some time aside in my power hour to think powerful thoughts and to adopt some go-to thoughts, right? And so in the Fit Figure formula, we are reprogramming your mind. We are thinking on purpose. We are coming together as a community so that we can have a fit mind, have a fit body, and that is in a sustainable way. Because if you don't work on your mindset while you're in your fitness journey, you are going to just continue to repeat the same thing that you've already done because you're not thinking new thoughts. Same thoughts, same results. You got to think new thoughts if you want new results. Okay. Exactly. So I'm learning not only to be hard on myself. I don't go to the gym. I love going to the gym, but been a little lazy for some reason. Maybe you need a break. You have been going hard. Maybe you just need a break. Maybe you need rest. I think sometimes when we're struggling and we're not seeing the results that we want, because I've had my clients do this before, and I'm like, you're working out too much. Let's just take a break off, a week off. I just had a client do this. She took a week off from working out. Maybe your body needs a break. It's totally fine. Continue your walks if you want to walk. You don't have to walk 20,000 steps like you normally do, but take a week off. Let your body rest and recuperate and then get back to it. Doesn't mean you're not consistent. All right. So if anybody has any questions, definitely put those in the chat. I think the link is there if you want to join the Fit Figure Formula. Enrollment is open for early birds, and we can talk about more about what that looks like if you contact me or if you sign up with the link. I want to make sure that the ladies, like anybody that's on here, y'all already know that your identity, your mindset is the most important part. Really anybody in this group. I don't think I have a whole lot of people who are like, get skinny quick, trying to like eat 1,100 calories, 1,000 calories a day to like lose weight quickly. Because we know that that's not sustainable. So if you want to get fit, mind and body, you want to do it in a sustainable way. You want to get stronger. You want to keep your curves, right? Because we are definitely going to be lifting weights. I am a big advocate for that. You can book a call to talk about that. But I don't know if y'all saw this earlier, but I did post a video. This was just an idea. Okay. This was just an idea. And I want to know if y'all would be interested. So I'm thinking of doing a subscription service where we get on a Zoom call once a month. It would be about $49. I know that not everybody can afford the 16-week program. That's the highest level of support. That is premium support and coaching. But I'm thinking of maybe doing a subscription service where we do a group call once a month. You get access to my training on how to hit your macros every time. And we get a private Facebook group where I would be in there and I could coach you a little bit more specifically because, you know, right now in our group now, most of you, I don't know like your history, your weight and all that good stuff. So I can't really give you specific, coaching or advice or counseling. But in that private Facebook group, I'd know your whole history. We do a whole assessment and I would be able to give you some more specific coaching and accountability. And then we meet once a month in a group setting. So y'all let me know if y'all would be interested in that. But if you're wanting a full transformation, 16 weeks in the coaching program, I always say it's always the first 16 weeks because a lot of my clients resign, and they come back. I just re-signed a client who was coaching with me last year. She came back. She had her baby, and now she's back. I see some other ladies on here who I've recently talked to, and they're coming back as well. So I re-sign a lot of my clients. So I feel like it's always the first 16 weeks. Okay, it's always the first 16 weeks because a lot of my clients do come back and come and coach with me. And I love it because I love what I do and I coach ladies that I like coaching. So we have to make sure that it's a good fit, which is why I have the application process and a sales call to make sure that we are a good fit to work together. So y'all let me know ideas about that. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next week. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet, but I will let you know. So have a good night, ladies.